Most of this show is about the Playposium, which is coming up next week or starting this weekend. Playfulness for academics, but it's pretty much open to the city. Saturday in the afternoon near the business school, there's a big top. There's going to be games there, including technology games with Tech Exeter involved in that, and then there's more going on during next week. But I want to go back a little bit to the reworlding events. I'm trying to relate what goes on with the university, because a lot does during the summer when the courses are mostly shut down. But there's a wider range of things happen, I think, for their own random value. They're not necessarily part of a course, the things that happen. So this Playposium is one example of that, and the postgraduate curation course actually put on some shows mostly in the city centre. There was one at the Institute of Arab and Islamic Studies, but the other ones were in the city centre. And I just want to say a little bit about the way that opened up to social media, because I think that's going to relate to the playfulness as well, or it may do. I don't know how this is going to work, but the radio that I do and that others do on Phonic FM and other radio stations as well is mostly working with social media. So clips appear on YouTube and other places. So it'll go into video as well as sound. But the question really is, performance or art is open to that, to remix derivative works, to different extents. And what surprised me was that the ways of machine seeing, which was in the Guildhall shopping centre, I wasn't able to photograph inside the space, although the content was based on what exists online. So it's a sort of a loop, but it's a broken kind of loop. Whereas the fabric one, sorry, the light's not very good here. The Phantom Threads in Sidwell Street, photographing there was fine, although their technology was not digital. Well, I don't think it was digital at all. It was more like needlework and knitting and working with fabrics. So I don't know what to make of all of that, and we'll see what happens during the Playposium, how much of it can be reinterpreted as remix or whatever. But the other one where I was okay for photographing was Parish Maps, which was in the library. That was fine. All the maps that existed there, some of them from the Royal Albert Memorial Museum archive, some of them from the university's archive, via the Women's Institute. It was the Women's Institute who had the best sources on the Parish Maps project, so that's something that's existed previously. But they recreated it with a map of Exeter, which was worked on during the time the exhibit was there, and I added a little bit to that, and I'll say some more on future shows. I'll sort of there's a few parts of last week that are yet to be documented, or yet to get clearance as for the photos that exist. But those things we'll come back to some point in the future. But places around Exeter that you can find are going to be similar to the ones found next week during the Playposium. Hang on a minute while I find the right page here. It's day 3. So the Playposium, the formal part of the Playposium starts up with day 1 is on Monday, and then day 2 is Tuesday, and then Wednesday there's a surprise keynote experience, and then Playposium takes over Exeter City Centre, and you can choose an event, which I think is done through playing cards. I've seen this on LinkedIn. Seems to be mostly the library and the Phoenix. Whether there's more of the city to be taken over, I don't know. But the space that I think would be interesting is between the Phoenix and the library, sort of round the back of it. There's a climate mural on one of the walls, and then there's a sort of locker container device in front of it, and there's lots of street art on that and on walls nearby, and there's also a garden, and it's a place to explore official art and street art, let's say, and I think AI is in the background somehow. There's various things which have happened previously over the summer break, which I'm not sure whether they're happening or the extent to which they're happening this summer. So there's AI and creative industry. There was a meeting last year, and I know there is a resource change this year, but I'm sure something's going on whereby the AI and database work that's still happening in the university must be relating to creative industry in some way, and quite where that will surface I'm not sure, but it might be part of the Playposium. There's the Saturday afternoon game supported by Tech Extra, but there's also an evening meeting which I think is free during next week, looking at games. So it may come up as part of that. But I'm reminded of it because Donald Clark has written a book about AI and productivity, and he's got quite a long section about the media world or art world, and he talks about official art that is approved by presumably people who've been on a curation course, for example, comparing it with other informal sorts of things that go on, which is where he sees a more communal, different approach to what goes on, and I think Remix would be part of that, and whatever AI is doing. So the climate mural, which came about as part of a project of poetry and storytelling ahead of a COP, a climate conference, which Exeter's research input was part of. That is quite well protected. I think there's a special paint covers that, so that can't be painted over. But it's beginning to be surrounded by other sorts of images and also questions. So there's a disgruntled mermaid to one side of it has appeared in the recent months, and also a question, and the question is why the pyramids are part of the mural that's black and white, but it's black and white except for the pyramids. The pyramid, it's not a bright colour, it's quite a subdued colour, but the pyramids are definitely different to the rest of that part of the mural. And I'm not sure why that is. I think it might be that the pyramids still have an art or spirit power or existence. I don't know, but it's a very good question, which is on the wall there, and then the rest of the mural is in colour, and I think there's another. I can't remember. It's a fish, but the fishes and whales are appearing all over Exeter. I've found 2 of them in Hevertree and the Waitrose going towards Hevertree. But if people are really going to take over the city, they may find more of them in different spots. But I think that space, it's not a highlit space, but it's interesting, and it is between the library and the Phoenix. If you're I'm saying this for people who might be visiting the Playposium, but in fact, if you're just an extra anyway, on Friday this week, there's an event at the Phoenix. The Phonic DJs. This is Phonic FM, by the way, on 106.8 in the Exeter area, and the Phonic DJs are going to be in the bar on Friday and Saturday. That's the 19th and 20th. So if you're just in Exeter anyway, or if you're arriving in Exeter to be ready for the games on Saturday afternoon and try and work out which bit of the conference to go to and that sort of thing, you might go to the Phoenix. I'm not going to read out all of them, but I've tweeted about it. You go to Exeter Phoenix Org UK and then go to events, bands, beers. So this isn't a very complicated occasion. The Phoenix is an arts centre. It's got a bar and there's going to be beer and cider available and Phonic DJs in that bar. The whole event is free, and then there's local bands appearing in the main performance part. And the thing is that the bar has got an open air balcony area behind it and a staircase coming down, and that's another way into this space that is not a prominent space apart from the mural, but it is between the Phoenix and the library, so you might find it. And I think it could be a performance space. I'm not sure if you could stand on top of the lockers or if you'd need to build some sort of stage protection for them, but you could have cameras quite high up from the library if they were open to that. I think that whole area's got potential, which could be tried out. Maybe during next week. Now I'm going to play another music track, and after that there'll be another documental theatre production.